I don't play a lot of video games these days, but when I do, one of my favorite games is FIFA. You see, I love soccer and I love watching it at a really high level. Seeing what someone with incredible skill can do, how they can move the ball where they want. To watch a player who has spent thousands of hours practicing his or her skill line up a penalty shot, kick it with the perfect angle and spin it where it curves over the wall of defenders and hits the top corner of the goal just out of the reach of the keeper, man, I'll never be able to accomplish that on a soccer field. Not on purpose anyway. But it's a ton of fun to grab a controller and make those things happen on the screen. To take control of the game, I move the controller or I push the button and the little guy on the screen does what I make him do. We like the idea of control. We like to be in control. As a teenager, one of the most frustrating things is that you don't have more control of your life than you do. You want to choose what you do, when you do it, and how you do it. But think about it. Does anyone really have control? I mean, sure, you can make some decisions, but can you guarantee the outcome? You can choose if you turn left or right, but can you guarantee that something won't be there to run into? You can choose to be friends with someone, but can you guarantee that they'll be nice to you? You can choose to love someone, but can you choose whether they live or die? We don't really have control. And giving up control is actually, potentially, the safest place for you to be. Hang with me. Okay, so honestly, do you really trust yourself to make big decisions? People do some really dumb things. If you just Google dumb things people do or dumb tattoos that people get, you'll be diving down a rabbit hole for the next few hours. Like the tattoo that says, "Believe in yourself and never give up hoop." HOOP. Or the compass tattoo that has the north, east, southwest in the wrong places. Or no regrets instead of no regrets. I think I can name at least one regret for that person. I remember doing something really dumb on a car trip. The whole family's in the car, and we're driving cross country at night in a new to us Suburban. Mandy's next to me checking out something on her phone, and everyone else is either asleep or completely occupied. Because the car is new to us, I'm still trying to figure out what everything in the car does. So I'm driving down the highway in the middle of nowhere, and I see this button near the headlight controls. So what do? I reach down and push it. I hit it and everything goes black. The headlights are off. I'm driving 70-something down a highway in the pitch black of night and I can't see a thing. Mandy leisurely looks up about that time, sees the nothingness before us, looks over to me and sees my panicked eyes wide open, me bringing the car to a halt and slapping every button on the dashboard trying to get the lights back on. What an idiot! Who let me drive a car at night with actual people on board? But in reality, we all do dumb things. So maybe this whole being in control thing, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So why do I say that you giving up control is actually, potentially, the safest place for you to be? Not only do we screw things up, but the one who is in control, he actually does a pretty fantastic job. In Ecclesiastes 3, Solomon, the writer, gives us a list of things that we experience in life that ultimately God controls. Birth, death, growth, joy, love. Not in a way where we're robots or puppets, but instead, it's understanding that the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving, perfectly good God of the universe, he is sovereign over everything. Sovereign. Okay, what's that mean? It's a word we often use to describe a king or a nation. It's independence, autonomy, authority. When we say that God is sovereign, he has ultimate authority, supreme authority over everything and everyone. Colossians 1:16 and 17 tells us, by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. Thrones, dominions, rulers, authorities, all things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. He's created all things, and he holds all things together. He has sovereignty over birth, death, growth, joy, love, everything. Okay, back to Ecclesiastes 3. We're going to go to verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. And there it is. That's why it's the safest place to be, because we can trust him. If you gave me complete sovereignty over your life, your decisions, your outcomes, we might not even get down the highway in one piece. But when you put your trust in him, when you trust in God's sovereignty over your life, your decisions, your outcomes, now you can have hope. You know that God is making it beautiful in its time. Now check out a little more of that verse. He has put eternity into man's heart. He has given you a purpose, a yearning for something greater, a knowledge that there is more. He has placed us right in the middle of what he's doing. And then the end of verse 11. He, man, cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. Meaning, we can't see what God has in store. We can't see it fully. We can't really comprehend what's in 5 minutes, 5 years, or 5,000 years. But we know who can, and we know who is in control. So we trust. So we know that there's something so much greater than us, so much greater than what we can comprehend. We know that not only does God see it from beginning to end, but he's making everything beautiful in its time. My brother and I used to play Super Mario, and I beat the game before he did. I knew the maps, I knew the traps, I knew where the enemies were. I knew how to win. And I remember at times my younger brother would be there struggling to beat a level. He'd tag me in, hand me the controller and ask, "Can you get me past this point? Can you take control?" I would do for him what he couldn't do. God knows the maps. He knows how to navigate this life beginning to end. He knows the traps and how to avoid them. He knows where the enemy is, and not only does he know how to defeat him, but he already did. He's already beat the game. Maybe it's time to give up control. Maybe it's time to tag God in. Knowing that you can put control in the hands of an all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving, perfectly good God, why wouldn't you? Okay, HSM, let's get into our groups and dive deeper into Ecclesiastes 3. And I can't wait to hear how you're giving up control in your own life. Let's go.